Welcome to Legends Live, presented by the National Basketball Retired Players Association, the official home of NBA and WNBA legends. Now, today we have Kenny Gattison having a little chat with a 15-year NBA veteran. Kendall Gill is on Legends Live today. He is still the NBA record holder for most steals in a game, coming in at 11. And he's also been making waves on social media because of his 40-60 club, which we already talked with Tim Hardaway about weeks and weeks ago, in which Kenny said he would never join the 60-40 club. Maybe they'll talk about it today, but let's bring to the show right now Kenny Gattison and Kendall Gill.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? KG, what's up, my man? Kendall, you got me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good. What's going on, brother? How's everything going over there in Chicago, being quarantined with the family and everything that's going on?
Yeah, everything is good. We're staying away from people, but we do have contact with people in the mornings because my family and I, we get up and we do our workout during the day, and then in the afternoons, my kids are we're either working out, playing basketball at the boxing gym, and right now I'm actually at their jiu-jitsu practice. So, I'm just a dad. Toting the kids around, man.
Quarantine or no quarantine, you still got to be dad.
Still got to be dad, absolutely.
Yeah,
so you done with this?
Yeah, I'm done.
I waited late.
Yeah, you're getting ready to get into those really expensive years when they need designer shoes, clothes, cars, all that stuff. You're getting ready, starting to come at you. So get ready for it.
Oh yeah, I've been ready for it. As a matter of fact, my friend asked me, Kenny, I used to like, back in the day when we were with the Hornets, I used to like cars. I had a couple Ferraris and everything, and my friends come over and asked me, what happened to your Ferraris? I said, you see them strollers over there? That's what happened.
You got that right. It doesn't take long. You can't get no child seat in no Ferrari.
No, sir.
Yeah. But let's jump, since you've been talking about working out here. You just mentioned a couple times in your family's work. I talked to Tim Hardaway early on in this Legends Live podcast, and he said that you guys had like a 60-40-20 club or some things where y'all had this like insane workout, and he was kind of telling me what you guys were doing, and I immediately lost interest. So, kind of bring us up to speed of how the I think it's the 60-40 club or whatever. Tell us about it. How's it going?
It's called the 60-40 club, and it started with me and a couple guys. I brought back a workout that I used to use back at the University of Illinois with the 1989 team that I was on, the Flying Illini, that went to the Final Four. And, I just brought it back out. And what you do is you sprint, you go to a football field, you sprint 60 yards, you jog, you took the goal line, and then you turn around and you do it again. Your first day is 20. Then you add on one per day until you get to 45. After you get to 45, you take off one per day back down to 20. After you're done with the cycle, then you will have run 96.53 miles. And then after you do your run calisthenics. So you calisthenics, 20 Hindu squats, 20 Hindu push-ups, 20 sit-ups, hold a back bridge for 20 seconds, and hold a plank for 20 seconds. Each day you add on one. So it's the same as the sprints. By the time you're done, man, you're in great shape. I mean, since March, since this pandemic started, I've lost 29 pounds. I'm back down. I weighed myself the other day. I weighed 25 pounds, man. What I weighed when I came into the league.
Right.
And everybody that does it loses between 17 and 30 pounds. My wife actually completed her cycle. She lost 17. So So, I mean, it really works. And because of the pandemic, it gives you a community of people to see every morning. You know, we stay socially distanced. You know, actually, I have on my mask right now that I keep around my neck. This is what I wear out there during the day. You know, we have hand sanitizers, and you know, we're responsible. You know, out there. You know, and the group has grown from 3 guys to we have mostly every day. We got about 63 people a day. You know, that come out and run. Yeah, and the great thing about it, Kenny, is you in and out no longer than 45 minutes. So you don't have to spend 2 or 3 hours in the gym. That's what everybody loves about it.
Yeah, and you know, of course, you know, we go back. You and I played together for a few years, so I know what a fitness buff you are and how committed you are, you know, to your physical conditioning and taking care of your body. But I'm gonna start a new club. I just came up with a new club. It's called a
What's
six.
That?
It's a 6-12 club, and I'm gonna try to recruit some people to get in it with me. And you can lose your 6-pack in 12 days by drinking a case of beer. But
hey, that's let me guess who's in the club since you back in Charlotte now. Dale, Curry.
Well, Muggs ain't much. Well, you know, I got some pretty stout club members. Put it. That Mother can't drink. He's too small. He drank 2 beers and he full, so he don't really get he ain't in the club all the way. But yeah, but it's like, you know what, and it's one of those things where, you know, after I retired, and just like when you retired, it's no matter what you're doing, that training camp clock, it kicks in. So I found myself retired 5-6 years. You know, I was an assistant coach, but every September I started running miles, and you know, I'm okay, let me go out here and run this mile in 6:30. And then as I got older, this is a thing that I realized. I think when I was 47, I ran 5 miles in 40 minutes. And I got off the treadmill and I looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you still trying to run 5 miles in 40? You ain't gonna do nothing but go to the gym and blow a whistle. And you know, but the thing with me, you know, when I retired, my body was tore up. I had a ACL reconstruction. That's why I was so surprised to hear Timmy was out there, because I know he had major knee injuries, and you know, I had a neck fusion. I had 3 back surgeries within 3 years of being retired. So it's like I go out there and I work out and continue to work out, and then I realized the same injuries, they hurt. You know, I swim a lot now. I get out in the pool and do some laps and tread water and do some leg kicks and all that. Next thing I know, right now today, my 2 kneecaps on fire. My patella tendons are burning up right now. So I'm gonna stick to the 6-12 club and lose that 6-pack, drinking a 12-pack every 3 days. So I'm like, I'm out. I'll tap out. Y'all young fit guys. But you never had no injuries, so you.
Yeah, I had. You know what? I had some broken bones, and you know, I didn't have any major injuries. I was lucky, you know, to get through all those years and not have major injuries. You know, and now I still had occasion. I remember when you remember Andrew Lang back in the day.
Oh
for the
boy!
Atlanta Hawks. I remember going up. I remember going up against him for my patented left hand dunk, and he caught me and partially dislocated my shoulder. You know, and I actually partially tore my rotator cuff too.
Been
And
there, done
I
that.
actually still feel that injury. Yeah, I still feel that injury to this day. But that's the only thing that bothers me to this day. I mean, a lot of people don't understand, being a professional athlete. They see a lot of the glamour, but they don't see how many times we get injured. They don't see when we retire how those injuries affect us.
Yeah.
Because they do.
Well, it's like it is. I played the game like a football player driving a dump truck. So when I was done, my body was beat the hell up. So I'm like, you just take me to the junkyard and park me, because that's it.
Yeah.
I was done. But let's talk. Let's talk about a couple things that is going on right now. I think tonight the NBA resumes their season, and the guys are down in Orlando in the bubble, and you see it more right now in the NFL than you saw it earlier with some NBA guys opting out. Now you starting to see some NFL guys opting out just because they're placing a priority on either their safety or their family's safety. Think about Kendall Gill as the player. Okay. Now now that you have children, small children, kind of put the two scenarios together. Yeah, as players, we all want to play. But now, and I thought about this myself, you got to go into a bubble and you got small kids, and now you're not going to be able to see them. They can't see you. Talk about how you would mentally adjust as a player today, whether or not you would be going into the bubble or opting out, or how you would proceed with possibly getting in there and having a chance to win an NBA championship.
Yeah, well, Get, after I retired from basketball, I became a professional boxer, and I hung around those guys for a long time. What professional boxers do when they get ready for a big fight, they go away for 2 months. They don't see their family, and they go away to get that Spartan mentality, and I saw a number of them do this. So I would be perfectly fine with going away and playing in the bubble, because I know, it'll be 2 or 3 months, but I'm eventually going to see my family.
Right.
I'm in the bubble. So, as long as everybody else as a group does what they're supposed to do, then, I feel relatively safe. And once the season is over, I know I'm going to have to go back into quarantine for at least 10 days until I can see my family again. So these are the sacrifices that we have to make for the league. I think that Commissioner Adam Silver has done a great job of putting everything together. Actually, being in a bubble right now, in the NBA bubble down in Orlando, is probably one of the safest places to be. Considering the outbreaks that are going on around the country right now, each state is spiking up again, but in Orlando, they've been safe. Mark Davis, who's an NBA referee, James Capers, who's an NBA referee, trained with me in the 40 to get ready to go back to the bubble. And, we discussed a lot of what you just asked me, and, they're saying the same things as I'm saying right now, and they were willing to do it, and so would I in that situation.
Yeah, and that's why it's so good to get different perspectives from different people that have had different experiences, and like you said, after your playing days, you were a professional boxer, so you experienced that mentality of going away and getting into that place where you got to compete in a barbaric sport, and then when that fight's over, you turn that switch off and you go back home and you be daddy and playing hoppy horse. So that's good to get a whole different perspective. And just like you're saying, and just like you're seeing, Orlando probably is the safest place to be right now but just like anything else, all it takes is one person inside that bubble, and now if it happens, now I think there'll be a big issue that probably going to be some fast moving actions because you see it happening with the Marlins in baseball right now. They had like 17 players and staff test positive in 3 days for COVID-19. So we'll knock on wood and wish our NBA brothers all the best, our NBA brothers and sisters down there all the best in the bubble. Let's switch gears and talk about the social injustice movement in the country, the Black Lives Matter, the young generation that's not afraid to step up and speak up and be seen and be heard. And, like we all know, we come from different eras in life, but technology is the great equalizer. All these years, Black folks been talking about police brutality and social injustice and all these things that people's like, oh, no, it can't be that bad. Well, technology put it right in front of you. You can't ignore it. Give me your perspective. And you've always been a deep thinker. Even, when we drafted you here with the Hornets, you were always mature beyond the typical rookie. What's been your interpretation with young kids? We talk about the talk. I didn't have that talk. You'll have to have that talk. What's been your interpretation and your just internal feelings about the movement that's going on in this country?
Yeah, well, how I explained it to my kids, because my kids are 13 and 11 years old. They, of course, they have lived the privileged life, but that privileged life sort of came to a halt when all of this stuff started happening. And they saw people here in Chicago when George Floyd was killed, marching in the back of our house, protesters. They didn't understand it. So, I had to explain it to them, and I had to explain that there are some people in this world that are not good people. Everybody in this world, they're not good. And you hate to paint a picture like that for your kids, but eventually you got to tell them the truth. And the police officer Derek Chauvin that murdered George Lynch wasn't a person, and I tell my kids, listen, the most challenging thing you're going to have to do in life is find out who the good people are and find out who the bad people are and separate yourself from them, and I'd say the injustice has been happening all my life, but this is the first time that they saw it. And Kenny, I live right in the heart of Chicago. So when the protesters started rioting and causing a lot of damage here in Chicago, they saw that. I took them around to see all of the stores, the windows broken, the boarded up, and they were like culture shocked, because like why is this happening? Because up until now their life has been great. They haven't had anything to deal with, but they experienced it, and hopefully they can take these experiences that they're learning at an early age, take it into the future and make this world a better place, because, I never experienced anything like this when I was a kid growing up. Yeah, I heard about it from my parents. They told me about the riots in the 60s and everything, but I never thought that I would be right in the heart of it here in Chicago and experience it myself, So it was a big learning experience for me as well, Right. But hopefully we never ever have to go through it again, man. Because I mean, absolutely tore this country up.
Well, and you know, I was born and raised in the South, and you know, a lot of this stuff, you know, that's being put out there, you know, for the world to see. I've seen it, I've heard it, I've witnessed it, I've lived it, you know. And one thing I know about life, only a crisis brings about a change. And
Yep.
we're in two crises now. The pandemic crisis and the social injustice crisis. And those things will bring out a change. And hopefully, as a country, we paying attention and taking some notes about some things that need to be done better and some things that we need to correct to move this country on and be in a better place for my children, your children, and all of the kids to come. As we get into this season now, I want you to put your broadcasting cap on now. And I'll pick your brain about, give me your top two teams out of the that you think will be playing in the Eastern Conference Final, and your top two teams playing in the Western Conference Final, and what two teams you think going to come out of each conference for the championship.
Well, I think the Western Conference is pretty simple. It's going to be those two teams from LA. You know, because I don't see any other teams that are better than them out west, and that's something that's going to be. Even if there's no fans, they're going to be at the games. That's a ratings bonanza for those two teams to play against each other. That's really what the league wants. That's what I want. I want to see that series. As far as the East is concerned, I think you got to look at Milwaukee and Boston. You know, I still think I would put Philly up there, but the inability for Ben Simmons to still shoot the ball from the outside, I think will hurt Philly again in the end. And Gat, you and I know this because we played against the Boston Celtics in the playoffs and the New York Knicks in the playoffs. You got to be able to hit shots in the playoffs, man. You know, and I don't think that Simmons has raised his game to that level. Where he just haven't raised his game to that level yet, where I can trust him to knock down shots. I think he's a great player, but he needs to be able to knock down shots in order to make his team advance to the next level. That's why I'm picking Boston and Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference.
Okay, well, I think those Bucks gonna have a dog in that fight over there, Giannis and his supporting cast, and you know, and I agree with that. But I think Toronto may be the spoiler in the East. Those guys went through and won a championship. So they are winning. Nobody's giving. They don't have any pressure. Toronto's going to upset somebody. I don't know right now. You got to wait till the seasons come out. But those guys have championship pedigree. So that's going to be the team that knocks somebody off because they're going to be sleeping on them.
Hey, they got championship pedigree, but they ain't got
no players. They still have Kawhi. Sure. Well, all right. Well, KG, we got a viewer question here. So, yeah, we got a viewer question. Bridget, do we have a?
We do.
Question from a viewer, so we can get to it.
Yes. As many of our viewers probably know, over the weekend, we lost the iconic collegiate coach, Lou Henson. And Kendall, you played under him when you were at Illinois. And so this question has to deal with Coach Henson, and it comes from Martin on Facebook. And he would like to know, what is your best memory of Coach?
I think Kendall might have a buffer in his.
I can hear you guys now.
Did you hear the question? What's your best memory of Coach Henson? We can see you, KG. We can't hear anything.
You can't hear me? Okay, let me
Now we can. Now we can. But the question was, what is your best memory of Coach Lou Henson?
The best memory of Coach Lou Henson that I've ever had is that we became friends after I was done playing at the University of Illinois. I mean, when you have coaches, they coach you. They're not your friend, when you're playing. But he was my friend. After I got done playing, we went and we raised money and we built a school in Champaign together. Came to my golf tournament every year. He helped me raise money for the Cunningham Children's Home in Champaign. He used to call me all the time, befriended my children. I never saw this side of him when I was playing. He was always a disciplinarian.
Oh yeah.
Played. But then I got to see the soft side.
Right. Well, and that I had the pleasure of being around Coach Henson, playing on some of the U.S. national teams that I did through the years, and he would push you to. That's the thing about. And another great coach that was this way, and I played for him on a national team, was Gene Cady from Purdue. Those guys push you till you thought you couldn't go anymore.
Yeah, Purdue.
Yep. They pushed you till you thought you couldn't go anymore, and then you realized you actually could. So
yeah.
And it's a blessing that while you're going through it, you think it's a curse, but it's actually a blessing. So I think that's a very good summary of how you understand how good he was at his job of developing Kendall Gill, the player, knowing that he could form a relationship with Kendall Gill, the person, later on in life after you were done.
Right. Afterwards, yeah. Hey, listen, I tell people, he took me from being a 7-11 All-American when I was in high school to a real All-American by the time I left college.
Right. And it's just, coaches have different ways of motivating players, and coaches have, and one coach that I was recruited by, but I never played for, who I think is just, he kind of kills you with kindness, and that's Coach K over at Duke. It's like I just always admired how he gets the most out of his players with a whole different approach than Coach Henson did.
Right.
Well, KG, it's been a pleasure talking with you, brother. I really appreciate you sharing your different perspectives on working out and, the bubble and the teams that you're going to get. It's always nice to get on Legends Live with a legend and talk about different things and what's going on in life and get different perspectives. And that's one good thing about technology. We can talk to each other all around the world now in real time. So always good to see you, my friend, and make sure you stay well and stay safe.
I will, Gattison. I appreciate you guys having me on, and for everybody watching out there, you guys on there. I was Gattison rookie. Used to make me get him food and all that stuff when I was back with the Charlotte Hornets my rookie year.
But as you see, we still friends today, so I wasn't that hard on him.
We still great friends.
Yeah. All right.
My vet right there.
Yep. All right, Bridget.
All right,
okay, KG. Take care, brother. All right, Bridget, let's segue into what we have coming up on Legend Live next.
Yeah, so for all of our viewers, if you would like to follow Kendall on social media and see what this 60/40 Club is all about, you can follow him at Kendall G13. Kenny, we're going to have to get you on Twitter so you can tweet about your 612 Club.
No, you have to live that. You can't just.
It's a
You
lifestyle.
ain't tweeting now. You have to get through a 12-pack very methodically, and you need 2 thumbs to do it, not to be tweeting.
All right. Well, with that said, to all of our viewers, thank you so much for watching today's episode. We will be back next week, same place, at NBA Alumni on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And if you would like to watch any of the previously recorded episodes, you can go to legendsofbasketball.com/legendslive. And until next week, take care.